Yes, that is perfect. Okay, so if you can go a further one, just where I do the reasons to join, the next one. Yes, so I can start from there. Yeah. So sorry. So like I said, the reasons to join our masters is that we're the leaders in research in machine translation, and that you're gonna have in the translation technology module. We're also the world leaders in research in crisis translation, and that you would have in the translation in crisis module as well with Patrick Cadwell and Sharon O'Brien. And as I was saying about the trip, so every year we take our students to a trip in the European institutions where they meet with not only translators that work for the European institutions, but the project managers and everyone that has anything that work with languages translation in the European institutions. So they get to meet everyone and see how it works. And many of our graduates end up working there as well. Next one, please. And our two masters, we are part of this European Masters in Translation Network. So this is the European Commission that do the DGT, the translation section. We sat down and we tried to think of what are the qualities that translators need to have nowadays to master the languages and to the technology and be able to do the job. So there is a list of recommendations that it has to do, and every master's in Europe that can fulfill these specifications are awarded the European Masters in Translation Network. So both our masters are awarded these. So it's a very prestigious award, and we have both of them. So anything that the network offers to our students, they have summer schools, they have meetings and conferences, everything you're going to be able to take advantage of as well. And next one, please. Yes, so the employability that I know that many of you are thinking about. So the Masters in Translation Studies is one of the most successful masters that we have in DCU today. It's a long gone, that started a long time ago. And the translation technology is a little bit newer, so it's just like maybe 10 years, I think. And but we have very good numbers of employability. Most of our students, they work in some kind of job related to language. So generally it's translation, but some of them become some translation technology experts in some big companies. So Dublin is full of IT companies. So many of our students, but many of them work for these companies in some type of language related job as well. Next one, please. Yeah, so these are some of the lectures that you're going to have lectures with. If you are curious, you can Google them and you see the amount of research that they do in this topic. So on top there is Professor Dorothy Kenny, myself, Joss Morkins, Pat Cadwell, Mary Phelan, Vincent Briva, Sharon O'Brien, that I know that many people know because she's very famous, Annette, Miriam, and Kieran. Kieran is the coordinator for the Irish language as well. And so everyone is very well known, and we publish a lot. We do loads of research on the topics of translation and language and translation technology. Next one, please. Okay, so this is a just brief overview of the modules that you're going to have in the Masters in Translation Studies. So the Masters in Translation Studies and the Masters in Translation Technology, they share some modules, but then they have their very specific modules as well. So the Masters in Translation Studies have as the core modules translation technology, that's for both of them, computerized terminology and research methodologies in the first semester. So you have to take 30 credits in the first semester, 30 credits in the second semester, and then the dissertation or work placement is 30 credits. So in maximum, you have to have 90 credits. In semester 2, you have translation technology and simulated translation bureau. And then, of course, you have the language-specific modules that you apply for. So the Master's in Translation Studies, you have to take either Chinese, French, German, Japanese, Spanish, or Irish. So it's one of these languages that you have to take. And then, like I say, after the semester 2, in semester 2, you have to decide if you're going to do a dissertation or if you're going to do a work placement. And then, if you do the work placement, you go, you work, you're an intern, and then you write a report on your internship at the end. If you decide to do the dissertation, you're going to find a topic, a very novel research topic, and you're going to work with one of us, and you're going to write a nice dissertation. Next one, please. And so you see that the Masters in Translation Technology, they're kind of like, especially in the first semester, we have kind of the same core modules. So again, translation technology, computerized terminology, and research methodologies. And then you can take language modules as optional as well. So the same ones that we have for the other. And then in the semester 2 core modules, we have a little bit more of technology than the translation studies have. So we'll have audiovisual translation, you have introduction to programming as well, localization, and we also have artificial intelligence, information seeking, and then we have the optional for translation in crisis. And the same as the translation studies, you can choose to do a dissertation or a work placement as well, and that's the total of 90 credits for the whole master's. Next one, please. Yeah, so then in SALIS, sometimes our students, the Masters in Translation Technology, they don't choose a language, optional language to do, but most of them speak more than 2 languages and they want to keep up, maintain their languages. So we have this space called Lingua Culture Space that students go there and then they take classes or they just pair up with a peer that speak the language, the target language that they like, and then just talk and maintain. And sometimes there are movie nights, sometimes there are cultural things happening, and you can book that as well if you want to do something, or you can attend most of them. Next one, please. Yes, so in our school, we have a lot of research seminars that go out throughout the semester. And these seminars are cutting edge research in language translation or translation technology. Sometimes we have invited speakers from everywhere in Europe and in the world as well. We always have invitations for the speakers. Sometimes we invite speakers to come to these masters to talk to the students. Sometimes are the speakers that ask to come to talk to our graduates because they know the quality of graduates that we produce in our masters. And some of them try to get the graduates interested in working their company very early on. I have loads of contacts with industry. All of our lecturers are very well have a very wide network, and people want to come to talk to you guys. And then every now and then, if there is a conference that is interesting for our students, we will let you know about them. And if you want to participate, if you want to submit anything and be part of this, we will let you know what's going on in the field as well. Next one, please. Okay. So I didn't remember that was my last slide, but that was my last slide. So if you have any questions about any of the masters that I didn't make very clear, let me know, put in the chat, and I will answer them. Okay, I think there is a question there already. So it's from Ella. Regarding the EMT network, if we do end up working for a new institution immediately, and if the program ever doesn't meet their guidelines anymore, would we still qualify at a later point for the jobs based on our studies? I don't think our masters will never meet the guidelines, because this is an award that is given for us for 5 years. So we had in the previous 5 years, and we got the new for the next 5 years in December last year. So we have 5 years more to go, and it would be very unlikely if we don't get the next 5 years in 2029, because like I say, we are one of the research leaders in the field. So we actually are not only DCU, of course, but we're the ones who sit down with the network and we discuss what are the next skills that we have to have. So it's very unlikely, but no, that wouldn't affect you at all. Next question, how do assignments combine research with practical experience? That's a great question. So we have some modules that they are very research-based, but for example, translation technology, that is a module given by me, is half and half. So we have lectures where I'm going to teach you the whole theory and how things work and where the field is going. And then we're going to go to the lab, and then we're going to try every single one of the softwares that you have to learn. So we have lectures in lab, the same for computerized terminology. You have lectures in lab, audiovisual translation lectures in lab. So we always have both of them. So our students leave the masters knowing how to actually use softwares. From Lena, the course details on the website say that additional criteria may be required to assess suitability for this course. What exactly are those criteria? I am not aware of that part in the website. Can you be more specific? Is it about the language? I think there is something about language, like you have to prove first, if your English is not your first language, you have to prove that you have enough proficiency in English to take the masters. And sometimes you have to produce an English certificate. And if we think it's not enough, I will call you to have an interview to check. And the same one is for the other languages. So you have to prove that you have some proficiency in one of the languages that I mentioned, Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, French, German, and Irish. For the Irish one, you don't have to have the Irish proficiency test, but by the end, I think the first semester you're going to have to take one. So the Irish one is one of the most that has more requirements for language. Was that the question? I think I answered your question. Is there any other? Oh, here. If we have a BA degree in English, would that be enough to prove it? So I do not know, because the English requirement language is a university rule. So who decides if your English skills is good enough or not is the registry. I can have a look and tell the registry, let me have an interview and see. But in the end, if they decide that your BA degree in English is not enough for the language proficiency, is not enough, it's not from us.
Yeah, just to corroborate what Sheila is saying there, guys, our admissions team will look at every case on a case-by-case basis, and then they'll form their own assessment. And if they feel the candidate has covered enough in their degree to proceed to do their Masters in English, then they'll let them through. In some cases, they may ask for additional proof of English language, and it will obviously go through the program chair as well. But guys, if you have any more questions, it's fantastic to see them coming in. If you could just hold them till the end, we're going to continue now with our next presentation. Thank you so much, Sheila, for those very informative slides on the MA in Translation Studies and the MSc in Translation Technology. Sheila will be staying with us just to the end, so if there's any more questions that pop up, but she's just going to hop off screen now. I'm going to hop off screen now, and we're going to welcome now Dr. Tanya Locott to present on the MA in Social Media Communications. So I'm just going to hop off now. I'm going to stop my stream, and Tanya, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Martin. Let me just start my slides and make sure you can see them. Okay. All good?
Yeah, we can see those, no problem.
That's great. Okay. So I'll continue in the same vein as Sheila did, but I'm going to switch you over to the School of Communications and talk to you about the program that I chair, which is the MA in Social Media Communications. And hopefully in the next 10 minutes, I can try and convince you that if you are looking for a degree in communications that focuses on digital media, social media, digital society, then this is the program for you. So why this program? It's a program that is fairly new. It only began in the last decade. And it specifically looks at the complex impact of social media, the internet, and digital technologies on all of the different areas of our life. And it's really for people who seek a thoughtful and critical understanding of that impact, but also want to gain the skills to analyze all of these different media and their impact, and also to strategically learn to use them. So we're looking for students who want to acquire a social science-based understanding and tools for analyzing how social media platforms develop, what power they have, how they operate, and how they're governed in the networked society. So we are looking at giving you knowledge so that you can use digital media, but also be able to analyze them because they're so central to all of the aspects of our lives, and to give you a range of tools so that you can use them in your work, research them, and also really analyze the power hierarchies and tensions of how these media are used by all of the different groups in society. It's also a really good idea to study this degree in our school in DCU in particular, because the School of Communications has a strong record of leadership in communication and media studies. It's been the leader in Ireland and in Europe in both media and communications disciplines, teaching, research. Our staff are very highly cited researchers. They contribute their expertise to government, industry, the media and communications business, and our school has consistently been ranked in the top 150 communication schools internationally by the QS rankings. And in fact, we are currently, and have been for a long time, the only Irish media and communication school ranked in the QS rankings. So that should tell you something about the caliber of work we do, and also the caliber of students we're looking for. In terms of who we are, I have to say, one of the reasons I love being part of the School of Communications and also part of my program is that both our staff and our students are highly international. So our academic staff who teach, research, and supervise on the program, and who you will be working with if you choose to join us, come from a range of countries, from Ireland, Italy, Ukraine, to India, Brazil, Sweden, and the US, and many other countries. We obviously also have postdoc and PhD researchers whose international range is even bigger. But also our students have traditionally been quite a great international cohort. So even today, I'm just looking at the students this year. We have students, and this year and past year, we've had students from Ireland, Canada, the United States, India, China, Iceland, Germany, and Mexico. And so this obviously creates a really great atmosphere for networking, but also learning about the global perspectives and about all the differences in how social media are used and understood in all of these different countries around the world. And of course, our staff are also researchers in their own right, whose work has been highly cited, highly used. They're recognized for their expertise in all different areas of social media research and digital media research. So people in our school research disinformation online, they research cyberbullying, but also they research sexuality, politics, digital journalism, the use of AI in journalism and digital industries. So there's really a broad range of expertise, and all of this expertise is going to be available to you should you choose to be part of our program. In terms of the program itself, so we have two options: a 1 year full-time version of the program and a 2-year part-time version. Certainly the part-time version is only available to EU students, so non-EU international students can only enroll in the full-time 1-year program. And here you can see a kind of outline of what kinds of subjects and modules you would be studying. You will see that there are some core modules, such as a theory-based understanding social media module, a very practical research methods module, again, a very industry-informed module on digital media campaigns, where you will have a range of guest speakers from digital marketing companies, civil society, non-government advocacy groups, but also industry representatives talking about the use of digital media in various campaigns. You will also have modules that are very applied, and we find them to be very useful, such as the data communication module, which teaches you about the use of digital tools to communicate big data sets and communicate results of complex analysis. So it's also something that students just find really useful. And so the kind of gist here is that the program combines theory and reflection with practical skills and policy insights, because obviously we're not just interested in doing research for research's sake of social media and digital tech, but we're also interested in having our research inform how governments regulate social media, how platforms set the rules, how they make decisions about what new features to introduce. And all of this is included in our modules and in the structure of our program. So we aim to give you research tools, but also tools to communicate efficiently using digital media, and give you also access to a wide range of optional modules, which you can choose based on your own interests as a student or as a researcher, right? So you will see that, for instance, we have modules on media audiences and media consumption, gender and sexuality in digital culture, public relations, and applying these principles in the digital media world, and also a very fresh module that has only been around for 2 years. This is a module on information manipulation and democracy. So in terms of careers, as I said, there is obviously a wide range of potential career paths, but also all of these that are listed on this following slide are jobs that our alumni and our graduates have already pursued, and some of them are already working in these jobs. If you know anything about Ireland, it's home to a growing cluster of leading digital media and communication companies from around the world. So a lot of the big giant companies like Google, Meta, TikTok, they all have their offices, European headquarters here. So there is a market for graduates from this program. But they can be confident of job opportunities in Ireland and in Europe and in the world more broadly, especially if you're interested in employment in various media-related sectors or communication roles in other industries. And obviously, this will also allow you to explore career opportunities and think about what you might do. We always have requests from our former alumni and other industry players for students to join internships or graduates. So we have a very active job requests and vacancies board on our program website here in DCU. It's obviously also a program that is valuable for you if you're already working in the communication sector, but are interested in more expertise on digital media and society, or if you want to transition into more socially or communicatively focused roles. And certainly there's also a strand of graduates who have gone on to pursue further academic research. So just on the slide, you will see Erin, who is one of our fairly recent graduates who works as a digital campaigns executive in a very well-established Irish PR firm, Drury, but also Benjamin, who's a PhD researcher who is working on LGBTQ and trans representation in digital spaces. So there's a load of different career opportunities, and part of the reason we really like to engage with students and help them pursue research and learn research skills is because they can also choose to pursue a research-based career and not necessarily a practical career, say in digital campaigning or digital marketing or digital communications. So, and I'm obviously really happy to take any questions specifically on careers and potential opportunities. So in terms of the general entry requirements, obviously this information is on our online prospectus, but the requirements are fairly straightforward. You should have a degree equivalent to an Irish or UK honours undergraduate at the honours 2.2 level or above, and our admissions team will help you figure out whether or not your transcript or your diploma satisfies those conditions. We also welcome applicants with appropriate combinations of professional qualifications and experience, even if you don't have the requisite degree. So in that case, we do ask for your CV, and we may or may not also conduct an interview to determine if your knowledge is relevant or discipline specific. And we also take in recognition of prior learning applicants who we ask to also submit a cover letter if they have other degree qualifications that may or may not combine with professional qualifications, and allow them to apply. And of course, we also ask international candidates who are non-native speakers of English to satisfy the university English language competency requirement by presenting test results. All of that information is on the website again. And just to close with a timeline and also maybe potentially a call to action, we accept applications on a rolling basis, either until the program is full or until the following dates. So for the next year, our closing date for non-EU applicants is 1st of July 2025, and the closing date for EU applicants is the 30th of August. And the program usually begins in the first half of September. So in 2025, we're also looking at an early September start. So in that sense, I really hope that if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. But I also look forward to engaging with you via email, or if you have any questions, here's a link to the program prospectus with a little more detail, where you can hear directly from our alumni about their reasons for choosing the program and what it gave them. And you can also learn more about what it's like to be part of the DCU community. And I hope this will encourage you to join the vibrant academic community here and also be part of our competitive cohort in the MA in Social Media Communications. Thanks very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much for that, Tanya. Now, folks, does anybody have any questions for either of our program chairs? I can see Ella is typing again. Great.
And Sheila, if you want to jump back on the video and audio, we would be happy to share the screen with you.
So this is actually one for you, Sheila, for both the MA in Translation Studies and Translation Tech, and the social media degree. How much actual class time do we have compared to self-study?
So Sheila says she's not able to stream. Oh, well, I don't know if there's a limitation on how many people can be on the stream at the same time.
Well, I'll stop streaming for a minute, Sheila, and see if that'll allow you to do it. So I'll hop off for a minute. Oh, hold on.
Oh, it's coming. So maybe while there you are. Yay. So while I might take a first stab.
Of course.
Yeah, so generally I'd say if we're looking at a full-time program on the social media communications masters, class time is usually anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a week, depending on, which semester you're in, how many modules you're taking. So you usually have like 2-hour slots for lectures and or discussion seminars. But as this is a master's program, really the majority of your time will be spent either in group study or independent study. We do expect you to engage with the readings, to do your own independent research, to work on your assignments. And certainly class time is important, and we do expect students to come to class, engage, participate, deliver presentations, work in groups. But it's also really important that we do, like, the majority of your time will be spent with your peers or independently working in the library, working online, working on either writing assignments or analyzing content, independent reading. And we obviously expect you to kind of also engage with sources that we don't necessarily recommend to you, but to do your own research and to pursue other information, and also to engage with some of the recommendations we give you, such as following particular podcasts or industry news, etc., etc. So I would say, I don't want to put a specific number, but I'd say probably it's like the proportion of class time to time that you might spend on independent study, it's more like 1 to 10, or 1 to 8, but like we do expect you to spend a lot of time on independent study.
Absolutely. And Sheila, maybe if you could comment on that for the translation check and translation studies.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, everything that she said as well. But we have, because we have technical labs. If you don't attend the labs, you're gonna fall behind. So because like our master's is 1 year, and we have so much technology to teach. So I tend to, like, I teach you one thing in one lab, and then I expect you to go home and finish and do some more research on that thing. The next lab is something else on top of that. So the labs for translation technology, audiovisual translation, computerized terminology, they're essential, and they shouldn't generally attend all of them. So for our masters, I would include that as well. But like the study hours, the self-study, that you do your own research, is essential. Yes.
Absolutely. Guys, have we any other questions? Can't see anybody typing there. Anyway, well, if there are no other questions, guys, we will stop streaming. We can keep the. Oh, hold on. Oh no, that's Tanya. Never mind. Yeah, if there are any other questions, guys, we'll stop streaming for a couple of minutes, and then if there's still no questions in a few more minutes, we'll end the session. But as I say, both Tanya and Sheila have included their contact information there. You can drop them an email if you have any further questions. If you have more broader questions on anything regarding DCU Postgrad Life, you can reach out to us on the Postgraduate Hub as well. There are some students as well studying these courses, our student ambassadors. You can chat with them if you want to know what it's like being a student on the course too. They can be found on the Postgrad Hub. But in the meantime, a massive thank you to Sheila and Tanya for such informative and engaging presentations. And thank you all for joining as well. And as I say, if there's any further questions, you can contact us through the pre-described channels as well. Thank you all very much, everybody. Take care.
Thanks very much, everyone.